Hi there, beautiful ones. I hope you are well. My name's Laura, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm the founder of Sacred Sister, a community based in self-love and self-connection, connection with each other, and connection with nature. When I was asked to share about our new creation, a journal, I sat and did the thing that most of us do as women. Where am I going to go? What's the background going to look like? Is my hair going to be perfect? Am I going to have my makeup on? Where will I be? Can I go out in nature? And I realized this morning as I was sat deeply in my own journaling that the only place I need to be is here, right in this chair where this journey started just a couple of weeks ago, with my candle lit and the cards that kind of showed me the way, and a beautiful connection to a sister whose books I read most days and I connect with. So I'm going to start by just sharing this moment with you. Sisterhood. When I have been stuck, cocooned in this life, it was women who came to free me. Women who reminded me what I am made of and what I am becoming. Women who broke my shell, reached for my hands and pulled me out. Not just to fly again, but to fly higher than ever before. There is much beauty, much ancient history in that intuitive network of strength, support, and silent sisterhood. Treasure it as you would a very special gift, because that's what it is, my sisters. That is what it is. So that started a journey for me just a few short days ago, really, into creating something that has been bubbling within me for a long time. And that bubbling was to create a beautiful work of art to share with you in the world that helps you to reconnect with yourself, that gives you prayers, affirmations, rituals, and brings you the most amazing artwork, pictures that you can dive into and journey with, not just a piece of art for your wall, a spiritual reality and awakening in every piece. And so that's really how the journal began. It's bubbled away, and then a couple of weeks ago, I sat here having made the big decision to cancel our autumn gathering, which I've never had to do before. But it just wasn't booking up and something wasn't really moving and shifting. And so I went with that flow of nature that says, okay, autumn is arriving and things are slowing down and things need to be released. And as I did that and I leaned in, the spaciousness opened up and 13 amazing women stepped forward to support this journey with me. 13 women who mostly I've never met. Some of them I had never spoken to until this email went out to them that said, hey, I want to create this thing in the world. Will you come with me? Will you join me? Will you be with me on this journey? And I thought there was going to be 10 of us. And they kept coming. And there are now 13 extraordinary sisters in this powerful collective of women, 14 including myself, 14 being this magical, angelic number of spiritual development. And this journey has continued to roll, and it has continued to connect me back to myself, back to my own innate creativity, where I didn't need to do it all by myself. Now, that's a really big thing for me. And for me to share that with you, find a way not to completely lose myself in my emotions. I've not had an easy journey with women in my life. It's not ever been something that I have found simple, from my relationship with my beautiful mother, who is a stunning woman in her own right, but had come from a very shut down place, a very repressed place. And so that's how we were brought up, how I was brought up. You know, the world was a scary place. It wasn't safe. It wasn't a place where I could feel comfortable in my own skin. And in school, I never really fitted in. I wasn't the cool girl, and I wasn't the geeky girl, and I just didn't fit. I floated somewhere in the middle. And in the middle of that soup floating, I kind of just got lost. I wasn't really out there. And then I found my career at 16, and my career was a beauty therapist and a holistic therapist. I trained as a reflexologist, and I did Reiki, and I did aromatherapy from the age of 16, very young for someone to be stepping into that spiritual path. I now know, but at the time, it was just so normal for me. And I remember my tutor at college saying, I'm not teaching you anything you don't already know. It's like you're just awakening again to something that's innate within you. And what that did was it took me on a 30-year career of travel and connection and listening to women. No woman comes for a leg wax and doesn't tell you their story. So I realized that over that time, I'd listened to 40,000 plus women's stories. That's a privilege. I see that as such a profound part of the journey that's brought me here. I also recognized along the way that I'd lost myself. I didn't even know that I'd ever found myself. I didn't even know who I was. I had become the therapist. I'd become the teacher. I'd become the mum. I'd become the wife. I'd become all of those things that were expected of me along the way, all of which were beautiful, all of which, I have absolute gratitude for, because they have led me to this point in my life. But I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know before a heap of therapy that I had no idea how I felt every day. I had learnt to shut myself down so much that I had no idea how I even felt in the world. It was like I was numb from the neck down. This part of me has this smile and this face, and it goes out every day. And it wasn't until menopause that I realized I had put this mask on every day just to show up. I now know that I have ADHD. I don't know that I even believe in that diagnosis. And that sounds crazy, because getting that diagnosis really formed a part of who I am and allowed me to come back and recognize another aspect of myself. But I see how my life has created the coping mechanisms that would now be seen as ADHD. And I know that my brain just doesn't switch off. It doesn't have an off button unless I come to silence, unless I come to myself. And so my practice for the last probably 5 or 6 years has really been how to come home to myself. How do I come back to my one wild, precious, sacred, beautiful heart? We are all born with that within us. And yet, from the moment we're born, we are out looking for something else. Who's going to feed us? Am I safe? Where do I sleep? Am I alone? Are they coming back? We are in that innate fear from such a tiny first breath and moment. So, how did this bring me to this point? I journal most days, every day. I have recognized the power of what it is to get out of my own head, get something on paper, and suddenly it's there. I liken my journal to being with my best friend. I give her a name. Quite often she's called Doris. And Doris and I go on a journey together. Doris travels with me everywhere I go. Doris comes with me in all sorts of shapes and forms and guises. And yes, I may think I'm mad speaking to my invisible friend, but she's not an invisible friend. She is tangible. She is there. She is something I can take with me. She is dependable. She is never going to want to fix me because I'm not broken. She's never going to give me advice. Where else do I get to do that in my life? Everyone wants to fix you and advise you. She's never going to want to rescue me and come along and scoop me up because I don't need rescuing. And she doesn't need to project all over me how it feels for her because she's a piece of paper. And yet, there is the most power in that space for me. I never keep my journals. Well, that's not true. I never used to keep my journals. And then I started to work in a way that I got creative with my journals, but I also bought journals that had beautiful art in and things I didn't want to throw away. And yet I never look at them again. They sit on a shelf. I don't really open them. I don't really connect with them. They're just there because I don't want to throw away these beautiful works of art. So when it came to creating our journal with these amazing artists, so you have 4 pieces of artwork each from 13 artists. That's a lot of artwork. And the prayers and the meditations and the rituals and the readings and all the other stuff that's in there, along with all your pages. It's 300 pages in total. 300 full color, 120 gram. You know, when you write on something, it's not going to go through. You can love this journal. But when you're done, if you want to take those pages out, it's a coil bound journal. So you can just tear out your words if you don't want to keep them. And you can release them, ban them, whatever it is that you want to do to release that into the ether. And you will be left with a beautiful book of art and words and connection. So this is more than a journal. This is a best friend. This is a connection that you can have with yourself. This is a moment in time that brings you back to you. And I encourage you to find a way to make this a daily practice. This isn't necessarily your diary where you write down the things that have just happened in the day. This is that moment where you give yourself 10 minutes in the morning or the evening to sit quietly with your heart space, to take some breaths, to remember where you start and end and the rest of the world begins, and to really connect in with that moment of yourself. From that place, your words can flow. Your creativity, there are line pages and plain pages for you to get arty, and that might be a thing for you. Perhaps an art teacher told you years ago that your art was rubbish. It's rubbish. That's rubbish. Let's heal that wound. So get yourself your favorite colors. Put your mark in this journal. Make your artwork alongside these beautiful pieces of art. That's what this is all about. That's what this journey is for me. And it excites me. It scares me a little. If it didn't scare me, what am I doing here? But the only thing that scares me about it is there's been a big investment. Is it going to sell? Is it going to go out in the world? Is it going to find its place? And I know it will. I feel it so desperately in my heart that I know it will go out in the world. And as I shuffled some cards this morning, the card that came out was dedication. And there's this beautiful card that says, your challenges will reap rewards. This card for me is everything that this journal is. It's the dedication that it took for me to say, yes, okay, I'm going to do this in 2 weeks, in a really tight deadline, with these women that I'd never met before, that I reached out to, and I could have faced rejection. They all might have said no, but they didn't. They felt this calling and they said yes. I found a tribe in that moment that I fit into. I have journeyed with these women through such a short period of time, but such a deep portal to get their artwork in, to create their biographies, to put kind of all of that together, to juggle it around the pages, to create the affirmations and the prayers. So I didn't want to wait any longer till the weather was good, till I could stand outside, till I could find a spot in my home where there wasn't any noise, the cows weren't mooing outside, where the sun's shining and the light is right. I wanted to jump on here in this moment and share with you what's really moved my heart. And I hope that you feel that too. I hope that this inspires you to buy the journal and to work with the journal and to go on this journey with yourself. I hope it inspires you to connect with our sisterhood and to be a part of our community. I hope it inspires you to go out in nature and to take note of what's happening in the world so that you stay in your natural flow. More importantly, I hope that it takes this moment to bring you back home to what it is to be your authentic self, to show up just as you are, without the need for the mask, the makeup, the perfect hair, the perfect clothes, the right lighting. The world needs your medicine. Sisterhood is the medicine that we need. So, from my heart to yours, I'll see you soon.